Hey everybody, this is Joseph Hasek and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to NFL Blitz, the season opening NFL game. I got the broadcasting legend Norm Rumack here. Norm, Dallas into Philadelphia, the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. By the way, I tried to get your friend Drew Ebanks here. He's a big Philadelphia Eagle fan, and he was refused to come on because he says, I am picking the Buffalo Bills this year to win the Super Bowl. By the way, the Super Bowl is in Santa Clara, California, the home of the San Francisco 49ers. It is also on February 8th. Can you tell everybody around the world, Norm, what is February 8th?
Well, I have to scratch my head a little bit, Joe, and
And
thanks for
scratch it.
inviting me on. Yeah, I feel better now. But if I'm not mistaken, that'll be your big birthday, isn't it? Number 50 or something like that for you, Joe?
First of all, Norm, I'm born in 74. It's going to be I'm born in 1974. It's going to be 52 years old. As opposed, a week later, on February 16, my sister, you know who she is
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be 50. 50-year-old for my sister, Norm.
Yeah, she doesn't look 50. She looks 30. Pretty remarkable.
All right.
And,
Enough
you
talking
know,
about my sister already, okay? Enough talking
all
about my sister. We're going to talk about, okay, the season opening game uh, happening Thursday tonight. Philadelphia, they will unveil the banner. I like NFL. The team who wins the Super Bowl hosts the opening game. That's pretty cool. Dallas
right.
and Philadelphia. But before we begin, Dallas made a big trade couple maybe 10 days ago with the Green Bay Packers. Dallas have Dak Prescott. They signed him and all that, but they make arguably this guy who they traded, who's going to wear number one for Green Bay, is one of the better defenders in the league. So who do you pick in this game, season opening game between Dallas and the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, considering that Mr. Parsons is in Green Bay right now, I think Dallas got ripped off mightily. 2 first-round picks on a starting player. Uh, Unbelievable. Everybody around the league is shocked. I'm surprised your Buffalo Bills didn't make that deal, Joe. Where were they? Like, what's going on?
Listen, they 2 first round picks and a player, not bad player, but 2 first round picks. Now, let me tell you. Plus, don't forget that they had to sign him. They signed him to,
Yeah,
I believe, a
I
4 year,
know.
100 and something million
Wealthiest non-quarterback in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
wealthiest player behind the quarterbacks.
that is probably the reason. I don't mind giving 2 first round picks because you're right up there. They're probably, the Bills, Kansas City, Ravens are probably the favorites to go to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, and one of them win. Maybe the Eagles also in NFC, and well, Dallas not going to go to the Super Bowl, but that's why they did not make that trade because they're not going to spend 190 million 4 year deal for him. Not to say that he's not worth it. He is a very, very good player. But for the Buffalo Bills, they gotta save more money for somewhere else. But let's get to tonight's
All
game,
right. So
Dallas, Philadelphia.
specifically, I'm going to pick the Eagles to win by 2 touchdowns.
So you're saying over 14 points. You
Yep.
know what? I am it's the crowd Dallas losing their best defender. Let me tell you, he's a classic guy, losing the best defender. At the best, Dallas, Philadelphia, going into Philadelphia, the crowd in Philadelphia and everything, and now raising the banner. I think Dallas is humiliated in the first game of the season. I think Philly is not only going to win by 14, they may win by 28. All right. I think it's going to be over by halftime, maybe a 38-10 score, put it that way. But the interesting thing in this matchup, you got Jalen Hurts, who, won the Super Bowl and is a fantastic quarterback, and Dak Prescott. He got the money last year and everything like that, but the question is still out. Is Dak Prescott a top 5 quarterback? Josh Allen is. Hurts is probably top 5, top 8 quarterback. But is Dak Prescott a top 5 quarterback? And he needs to be for the Dallas Cowboys to do anything this season.
Well, I think they've got to, the Cowboys need to improve the team around them. When they had such a brutal season a year ago, you can't lay all that on the doorstep of Dak Prescott. So I think he's a pretty good quarterback, but you gotta have a complete team, right, on offense and defense. And I think that's what was hurting the Cowboys the last couple of years.
All right. So I know you're picking the Eagles and you're by more than 14 points, but since this is the season opening game and you're not going to be on to preview the other games, you will be on tomorrow to preview the Brazil game. It is Kansas City at the Chargers. But no,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this, Norm. So I'm gonna be very, very serious, and I'll let you know who we have a special guest to preview all the other games in week one in the National Football League. This guy is big time. But before that, Norm, you know the usual question. First show of the year. What is your Super Bowl matchup?
Well, I'm not going to go with logic. I'll go with sentimentality. How do you like that,
Wait,
Joe?
hold on, son. Don't tell me. So if you're picking my team, there's no sentimentality there because you're not a fan of the Buffalo Bills. You're maybe fan of the Buffalo Jills, the cheerleaders, but you're not fan of the Buffalo Bills. And I'm going to try to convince you this season when they go to the Super Bowl and everything to let's purchase tickets for the new stadium that will be unveiled next season. But that new stadium's amazing. $2 billion stadium. That's almost as much as money as Norm has in a bank account. But Norm, give me
Yeah.
your Super Bowl pick. Super Bowl 60.
Well, okay. So I won't use the word sentimentality, but I'll just use, how about for fun? I'm just going to go way off the charts, way off the charts. Not way off the charts, a little bit off the charts, but choose a matchup that almost every fan who watches the NFL would say, yeah, you know what, that would be a fun game to watch. And, don't really care. Not that they don't really care who wins in the two cities. They obviously care, but I think fans would be happy for both franchises. And that, Mr. Pasek, includes your Buffalo Bills and even a pick you would like, the Detroit Lions. How do you like that for a matchup?
Yes, the Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, and dare I say, Norm, dare I say who's going to win that game in your estimation? Because it's February 8th.
Well,
I know it's a Sunday where you have off. I know it's February 8th where it's my birthday. I know most likely you're going to be here celebrating with Eric Cohen. He likes Detroit also with Harvey Geschmagitz. All right. I know you're going to be drinking not one, not two, not three, four teas. Who are you picking? Super Bowl 60, February 8th, Santa Clara, California, the Buffalo Bills, and Detroit Lions.
well, four T's. You forgot to mention my coffees, Joe. I'm a little
Yeah,
disappointed in
well,
you,
coffees,
but
I
anyway.
know. Who cares about coffees? Come on.
Okay. All right. Seeing as we've been great friends for what 40 years already, or
Yes.
something,
Yeah,
something like
it's more
that.
like I'm going to be 52. It's more like 62 years I know you. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to go with your Josh Allen led Buffalo Bills. It's finally their turn, but if they stay healthy, any team that makes the Super Bowl, you got to stay healthy. You can't get there if your starting quarterback's not playing, or it's almost impossible to. So, assuming, let's say both teams are equal in terms of health and injuries and all that, both starting quarterbacks are ready to go. Uh, I'll go. I think it's Josh Allen's turn. He's been playing like an MVP. He is an MVP, and it's a quarterback-driven league, and it almost always has been. Can't win without a great quarterback, or it's almost impossible to. Very rarely that you don't win without a great quarterback. So I'll go with your Josh Allen Buffalo Bills to win. Imagine this. I'm even going to give you a score line to win by a field instead of wide right. It'll be dead center on. How's that? And they'll win it by a field goal. How do you like that, Joe?
Norm, did I say I love you?
No. So you better say it now.
I'm going to say it February 8th because February 8th, fans listening worldwide here, February 8th may be the greatest day ever for me. My birthday, Buffalo Bills winning, and Norm Rumack giving me a present. All right, that's a hat trick like you never heard. Maybe he'll get me a coffee or something from Starbucks or
Maybe.
somewhere like that. but I'm telling you that, by the way, that matchup, Buffalo and Detroit, really could have been last year. And I've always dreamt, my second favorite team, second and third favorite teams are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My family went to Tampa for a couple of weeks during the summer for 15 years, and the San Francisco 49ers. How great would it be, Buffalo and San Fran? Because in the late 80s, 90s, you wanted to see Buffalo, San Fran, Jim Kelly, Steve Young, and everything like that. That I'm not saying San Fran could make it a home game and everything like that, but you got one team right. There's no other team in the National Football League, American Football Conference, that's going to make the Super Bowl this year. But circle the wagons, but the Buffalo Bills. All right. But the
All right.
Buffalo
Well, yeah, but
Bills.
Joe, even you wouldn't be too. You'd be brokenhearted if the Bills don't win it. But just in case if the Bills aren't in it and Detroit won, you'd be pretty happy. They're almost like a second choice for you, right?
And let's face it, the two closest to Toronto are what? Buffalo and Detroit.
Yeah.
So, fans in Toronto love the Bills. They love Miami. They love Pittsburgh, but they also probably would go to either Buffalo or Detroit to watch a game or two. So, and Detroit, 2 years ago, they were almost there with San Fran and everything like that. And last year they lost. So it may be Detroit's turn also. But arguably, like I said, week one, one of the better matchups, Sunday night, Buffalo, Baltimore. I'm going to ask you for your pick. That's your only pick, because when we come back, we'll preview the Friday night game. Yes, first weekend, Friday night, Kansas City and the Chargers, but better game, probably the best game of the weekend. It's the Ravens and the Bills. Lamar Jackson against Josh Allen.
Well, hate to be boring or anything, but again, I think it'll be a good game, a close game, hard-fought game. A great quarterback matchup in that contest again, and I'll pick the Bills by a touchdown, a converted touchdown, 7 points to win the game.
You think I'm paying this guy to appear on the Fired Up Network? This guy's picking Buffalo all the time, which either is a good thing, he finally in his old age of 75, or Buffalo screwed.
Well,
I don't
quite.
know which one it is, but Norm, tell everybody how to get a hold of you, and remember, you'll be back here tomorrow to preview Kansas City and the Chargers.
Yeah, well, you can get hold of me right here on the Fired Up Network. I'm on with Joe a couple times a week, different days of the week, but you can find it and just check it out on Fired Up. And we cover all the leagues. You name it, we cover all the sports, including footy, overseas, footy in North America, footy in terms of the World Cup coming to Toronto, and of course, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. So it's a big year for footy fans in North America, that's for sure, and in Mexico. Chance to see some of the greatest players and to host it. Probably the only time in our lifetime, Joe, that we'll get to see that, or at least since it was last hosted by the United States, as you remember, in 1994.
And they played in Detroit a couple games also. And Norm, for you, you don't know this, but we'll be all over covering the World Cup. You will be covering it in Spanish. You will be covering it in Spanish, speaking Spanish and everything like that. I will be doing English. And of course, our guy, Carmen Asacco, has told me he will be providing Italian commentary. All right. He told, so we have it in English, in Spanish, and a little bit of French also, in Italian. Mm-hmm. So Fired Up Network is the place to go for the World Cup. And by the way, if you want to go to the World Cup game, Norm has some tickets. He's $8,000 a ticket.
Some tickets.
Yeah, $8,000 a ticket to watch Costa Rica against Zimbabwe. All right, so there you go. But Norm's picking tonight, season opener, Philadelphia over Dallas. And Norm will be back here tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Norm.
Well, pleasure, Joe. Great to be back and looking forward to a great season of NFL football covered right here on the Fired Up Network.